I'm Brandon with Keentel Engineering, where we do power system studies, EMT modeling, and interconnection support across North America. In the next 5 minutes, you'll know exactly how SPP studies large loads and where projects lose months. A single AI data center campus can now demand more power than a mid-sized city. But unlike a city, it can show up on the grid in 18 months and swing hundreds of megawatts in seconds. So how does a project like that actually get connected? If you're building in the Southwest Power Pool footprint, there's now one answer: the HILL process. Let's walk through it. First, what is HILL? A high impact large load is any new load or load increase at a single site of 10 megawatts or more at 69 kV and below, or 50 megawatts or more above 69 kV. Storage is excluded. Virtually every hyperscale data center clears these thresholds by an order of magnitude. Why the special treatment? Because electrically, a data center is a massive rectifier plant. During a transmission fault, that entire load can disconnect in a few cycles, and uncontrolled tripping of gigawatts of load can turn a routine fault into a regional voltage and frequency event. HILL exists to prevent exactly that. Step 1 is choosing your pathway. Attachment AQ is the traditional route. You already have designated resources to serve the load. Attachment AX is the provisional load process. Service tied to planned generation, so you don't wait for the full generation queue. And CHILL is conditional service, the fastest study results, in exchange for accepting curtailment during system stress. Pairing on-site generation behind the same point of interconnection, that runs through SPP's HILL generation assessment. This choice is commercial, but it has deep technical consequences, and it's cheapest to get right before you file. Here's the part most developers miss. There's no cluster window and no filing deadline. HILL requests are processed on a rolling basis. That sounds great until you realize what it means. SPP's 90-day study clock does not start until your package is complete and validated. An incomplete submittal doesn't get rejected. It just sits there burning your schedule. And the item that trips up most projects, the load models. A 10-year forecast and a one-line are familiar territory. A validated PERC 1 or CMLD model that actually represents your UPS topology, your cooling plant, and your ramp behavior. That's specialized power systems work, and it's now a gating item. Once you're in, the base study runs 5 analyses: thermal, steady state voltage stability, short circuit, RMS dynamics, and then the gate that matters most, the SCR CCT screen. SPP checks the grid strength at your point of interconnection. If the short circuit ratio metrics fall below 6, or the critical clearing time falls below 0.15 seconds, your project goes to supplemental EMT studies. And here's the schedule trap. Those supplemental studies happen outside the 90-day window, and they require a detailed PSCAD model of your facility. If you didn't submit one with your application, you're now building it while your project waits for months. That's why SPP recommends, and we insist, that the PSCAD model goes in the original package. Now the physics. SPP's fault ride-through requirements are binding performance expectations, measured at the POI. Your facility has to ride through defined voltage sags, down to 0.5 per unit for half a second, and below that for 0.15 seconds. During shallow sags, the load must keep drawing power, reducing proportionally with voltage. In deep sags, you can transfer to UPS, but you must be back to 90% of pre-disturbance load within 1 second of voltage recovery. 2 more that surprise people. Power electronic loads must use constant current control during disturbances. Constant power is prohibited because it deepens sags and drives voltage collapse. And your facility must withstand up to 6 fault clearing attempts within 90 seconds. Because breakers reclose. There's also a pragmatic carve-out. Variable speed drives can be exempted from several requirements. if your study demonstrates it won't hurt reliability. That demonstration can meaningfully cut your equipment costs. Everything runs on 3 models: CMLD, the WEC composite model, PERC-1, SPP's preferred model, built specifically for power electronic dominant facilities, and the PS-CAD EMT model, representing your facility at the converter level. Critical point: SPP formally verifies that your RMS and EMT models agree with each other. If they were built by different parties, from different data, at different times, SPP's study will find the inconsistencies for you at the most expensive possible moment. Build them as a matched, benchmark pair. The most common mistakes we see? Submitting without load models and assuming SPP will work with you. The clock simply doesn't start. Skipping the PS-CAD model to save budget. Developing RMS and EMT models independently. And modeling a facility your actual UPS settings can't deliver. A beautiful model that just documents non-compliance. At Keentel Engineering, we developed CMLD, PERC-1, and PS-CAD models as a matched pair, validated against the full SPP ride-through envelope and packaged in SPP submittal formats, plus fault ride-through gap assessments, VSD exemption studies, and study cycle support, all under the professional charge of a licensed professional engineer. If you're planning a large load in SPP or you're stuck in a comment cycle, reach out. Bring your one line and your UPS data sheets. We'll bring the roadmap. Full written guide is linked below. Thanks for watching.